Jesse Ryder struck 100 and Ravi Bopara 99 to frustrate Lancashire on the second day of the LV County Championship match in Chelmsford. There was no play on day one, but the second began really well for the visitors. At the start, there was the sight of Alistair Cook being trapped in front by his England teammate James Anderson, the England captain, out for a single. Then Glenn Chappell bagged the 983rd wicket of his first-class career as Tom Westley nicked behind before he'd scored. That left Essex on 14 for 2 in the sixth over after Lancashire had won the toss and decided to have a bowl, and it was 29 for 3 when Chappell and Anderson combined to remove Nick Brown for 27. Lancashire knew that nothing short of a victory here would do if they were going to claim the second division title, and that would not be enough if Surrey wrapped things up at home to Northamptonshire. This was just about the perfect start for them then in helpful bowling conditions, but they now came up against Ryder in a typically feisty mood. He was especially harsh on Tom Bailey. This, the kind of shot you don't see too often in Championship cricket. It went miles. Bopara, struggling for his best form all summer long, stuck with the Kiwi Master Blaster until lunch, which arrived with Essex recovering to 96 for 3. On the resumption, Ryder was at his 50. He needed only 59 balls to get that far and had smashed 10 fours and one enormous 6. Running between the wickets was clearly not part of his game plan. It was an explosive knock from the 31-year-old, who's had another very good all-round season for his county. Bopara, meanwhile, not always at his fluent best, certainly let loose when given the opportunity to do so. Shots such as these suggesting that he was raised in the Caribbean rather than in London. Both he and his partner were certainly entertaining those at the ground, if not the visiting attack. With time already lost in this match, Lancashire had to take every opportunity they were given, but Ryder, slashing hard, was given a life in the slips. Bopara mixed the ridiculous with the sublime and was at his half-century of Lewis Rees, making a rare appearance in the first team this summer. The pictures don't tell the whole story, as the batsman had used up 154 balls to get this far and had taken his boundary count to 8. But these shots from Ryder tell you exactly how he played. When he hit the ball, it stayed hit. Something Rees found out as he was launched into the distance as the left-hander raced into the 90s. A clever dab to third man then brought him the 3 runs he needed to complete 100 off only 115 deliveries. He struck 17 fours and 2 sixes as he got to 3 figures for the second time this year and for the 22nd time in his career. His turbulent past is now behind him, and the game of cricket is much better for that. He should still have some good years ahead of him too. Ryder celebrated with another huge shot off Bailey, which took him to 116, made out of a partnership with Bopara, worth 186 runs, those being made in 50 overs. Next ball though, Ryder was out, perhaps caught in two minds to be bowled by a relieved Bailey. Ryder left with his side now looking good on 215 for 4. And the punishment for the visitors didn't end there either, as after tea, Ryan Tenduscarter picked up from where Ryder had left off, with an array of shots which kept the scoreboard ticking along very nicely indeed as far as the home side were concerned, they hoping to consolidate third place in the second division table. At the other end, Bopara kept going. He was at his best score of the summer and now had 100 in his sights. He'd got to 95 when Tenduscarter went big off Stephen Croft in the last over with the old ball. It took the batsman to a half-century off 58 deliveries, from which he'd found the boundary 5 times and cleared it once with that shot. After their difficult start, the Essex batsmen were making hay while the sun shone. But the second new ball worked well for Lancashire. Anderson had his second wicket of the day as Tenduscarter drove him to Chappell after making 59 of a fifth wicket partnership of 95. Then Bopara, needing just one more run for his 100, got a beauty from Anderson and edged behind to Phil Mustard, the on-loan Durham keeper, with a fine catch. Bopara had batted for 5 hours. And Anderson was in business again before stumps were drawn as Mark Patini picked the wrong ball to leave alone. He was bowled for 8. The last 3 overs were safely seen out by James Foster and Graham Napier. Essex then ending the day on 328 for 7. Anderson with figures of 4 for 56 from 24 overs to prove that he is fully fit again.